In this video, trader is going to answer a question from a subscriber who is buying stocks in a bear market. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a warm welcome to you. Thanks for tuning into the video. Okay, so who is buying stocks in a bear market? Question from a subscriber, by the way. I appreciate all your questions, all your comments, everything, support, the lot. You're a great bunch out there. Much appreciated. Okay, so this is a question, and I wanted to do a video on this because I've done a similar video about bear markets, buying in bear markets, but there's a fundamental understanding that probably needs to be the foundation of knowledge before we kind of think about strategies, etc. So who's buying in a bear market? The first thing to note, guys, is that for a trade to occur, let's say we have a transaction of 1 unit, okay, we have to have a buyer and we have to have a seller. We cannot have a trade, you've got my handwriting there, you cannot have a trade without a buyer and a seller. If you've just got sellers and there's no buyers, then no trade will take place. Now, for markets to move, this is why markets move. Markets move, and if we talk about a bear market scenario, a bear market happens. Obviously, a bear market is when we have a big downtrend, normally quite aggressive, etc., etc. But for that to happen, we have to have sellers who are willing to sell at a lower and lower price. And because we generally have more sellers, now, I'm going to be very careful when we say this. When I say more sellers, I mean more volume that is willing to take a lower and lower price. That's how price moves down. If we just had a massive amount of sellers, let's say we had 100 sellers sitting here, okay, and they weren't willing to go any lower than this price, okay, then they would have no further effect on the market. Sure, they might stop it from going up if we've got one, and forget about the order of magnitude. That could be 100 million, 100 billion, whatever, but you get the idea. We could have one buyer, one buyer, one buyer. We'd have trade carrying on at this price here. Let's say this price is $95, just for argument's sake, $95. It wouldn't get above it, but it wouldn't push it lower. Now, in a bear market, we have multiple amounts of these people who are selling lower. Let's say they're selling at 94, and there's also selling lower, and they're moving down, and more people are coming in and selling lower. We have another 1,000 perhaps coming in, another 500 coming in lower, and this is causing the price to go lower because these guys are prepared to take a discount to get out. Now, for the trade to occur and for a print, so to speak, to come on the chart, we have to have a buyer executing at this point. Now, what happens is in a bear market is that people are buying, going back to the initial question, who's buying stocks in a bear market? Now we've got that out of the way and we know that for every buyer there has to be a seller. Who's buying stocks? Well, people who perceive that that is good value. Now, you may well say, you know what, we are 10% off the highs. I am going to average in, I'm going to dollar cost average in now because I'm looking to hold stocks for the next 20 years. So you might be a buyer. We might have a massive amount of people doing that. It might have hedge funds doing that. It might have mutual funds doing that. Don't forget that every participant has a different goal for buying that share, buying that stock, whatever it may be. We're going to use an equity market example here. Now, you or I might be trading it thinking, well, for the next year, this thing's going to get slaughtered. I'm just going to short, I'm going to dump on my stock, I'm going to sell short, I'm going to, make sure I'm on the sell side. But other people may say, hey, I'm investing for a long term. I'm seeing this as a discount. I still believe that's a good company. I still believe this, I still believe that. And so they're looking over there, and even though it's a bear market, they say, well, I don't know when the bear market's going to end. I just see this as good value, so I'm going to accumulate stock as we go lower. Now, could they be wrong? Of course they could. We could have a massive depression. We sit at lows for the next 10 years, but they're banking on the fact that it's going to bottom at some point and it's going to rally back up, whatever the time frame may be, and they just want to be involved in it. But it happens to be in a bear market is that there are more people who want to get out quickly than there are people who want to get in quickly. Now, so we've got people who are higher time frames who are looking for longer. We've got people, even retail guys, who are saying, you know what, I don't care this is a bear market. I like this company. I think that we're going to rally. Now, we might have traders like you and I coming in and saying, hey, we think this is the bottom, and so we're going to buy here. Now, if we're right, pushes up, makes some money. If it's not, we're going to fuel the market going lower because we're going to be coming in and selling lower because we're coming out and taking our loss. So who is buying stocks in the bear market? We've got those bigger hedge funds potentially. Now, hedge funds may well be hitting it short and looking for shorter term gains, but we may have mutual funds who are looking for longer. We might have pensions. We might have multiple people on that higher time frame who are happy to accumulate stock. We might have companies that are buying back stock. They see that, hey, we're still doing fine, but the valuation's low. We're happy to buy back stock, and they're the ones buying it. Now, when those guys, all those we talked about, start to filter out a little bit, that's when we get that real acceleration, because a lot of people are dumping it. A lot of people are stuck in it. People are selling for reasons other than they think it's going lower. They're selling because they need to liquidate to access funds for margin calls for other stuff. And that's when it all becomes a little bit of a mess. But generally speaking, if it's an orderly kind of bear market, if there is such a thing as an orderly bear market, we will always have some buyers, but there's no rush. Why would they rush and start bidding up price unless they thought it was suddenly going to go up now? They're happy to accumulate lower and lower and lower. The guys who are on the back foot, who have the urgency, are the sellers because they think it's going lower and they just want to get out now. That's why we have that downdraft. That's why we have the acceleration. Final thing, the addition to the question is the broker losing money when you're selling? Well, no, a broker is just an intermediary between a buyer and a seller. The broker doesn't take a position as such in traditional sense, i.e. if you're trading a actual stock. CFDs, spread betting, a little bit different, but a broker in a traditional sense, he's just facilitating the trade on the exchange. So you're selling, you're putting it on the exchange on the broker's account behalf, if you like, goes in, executes, there's another buyer on the exchange taking that. Now, your broker is on your side of the deal, so he charges you a commission. There'll be another broker on the other side of the buyer's deal who charges the commission to them, and the exchange will charge the exchange fees, if applicable, to both parties. So the broker's not on the hook for anything. In fact, if anything, the broker probably likes the bear market because there's a lot more volume coming through, a lot more urgency coming through. They just want volatility and action and want people to accumulate. Now, they don't like a bear market, obviously, if they're managing funds, because most likely they're going to be long, and angry investors are going to be ringing up and saying, hey, you're managing my funds, I need to get out quickly, and they'll be scrabbling and there'll be a lot of shouting going on the phones. Anyway, guys, that is who is buying stocks in a bear market. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye-bye.